This is the antimatter reactor, and this is where it sits in the middle of the craft. The little orange spot is where the antimatter reactor is.
I'm trying to figure out what type of Star Trek device that is. Pop up, star date. Welcome back to the Dark Waters 9 YouTube channel. On today's video, we're featuring mysterious TikToks that no one can explain. Hit that like and subscribe button while we try to make sense of all this, and let's dive in.
This is the antimatter reactor, and this is where it sits in the middle of the craft. The little orange spot is where the antimatter reactor is. These are the gravity amplifiers, and what happens is they shoot protons into the 115, which bumps it up to 116,
right.
Which shows off antimatter, which is mixed with matter, and through a thermionic generator creates voltage out of heat. And they're able to take it up to the center of the craft and down to the sides and into the gravity amplifiers and focus on a point in space, increase the amplification that pulls that space towards the craft. It wraps around the craft, and then they turn it off, and they're instantly hundreds of thousands of miles away.
Right.
I mean, dude, why does it look like this? We're in the desert. Why does it look like
it
this?
looks like this isn't sand. It almost looks like intentional. Like this looks like I'm at an indoor pool.
Literally.
And like this is like the ground of the indoor. Let's do some scanning. Geo exploration.
seriously.
Oh my god.
Dude, these rocks are weird.
What the hell is that?
A normal rock. Is that?
Is that a piece of food?
No, that's a rock, man. But what? I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what type of Star Trek device that is. You remember that gray thing they had that it'll pop up, star date, so and so. Man, that thing is able to read elements? What is that?
There's also a bit of the V in it. Element that's V. What is V? It's mainly silicone. And Mg, is that magnesium?
Yeah?
Pretty cool.
That's weird. Is that normal?
I don't know.
I mean, dude, what?
Yeah, guys, that's a mystery. If you got more information about that device or what's around Area 51, drop it in the comments below.
What if some gifted programs in American schools were never really about intelligence? During the 1980s and 90s, schools across the United States placed certain students into programs called GATE, Gifted and Talented Education. Officially, these programs were meant to identify students with advanced learning abilities.
Am I tripping, or does this sound exactly like X-Men? You know, Xavier's School of the Gifted?
But many former students remember something very different: strange tests, pattern recognition, symbol decoding, visualization exercises. Some remember being taken out of normal class into isolated rooms where they wore large headphones and listened to unusual audio tones. Others describe exercises involving memory, focus, and altered states of awareness. And then there's the detail that keeps appearing over and over again online: the pink drink. Multiple people claim they were given a strange pink liquid during these sessions, and many of them say they can barely remember what happened afterward. Now, maybe that means nothing. But here's where the theory begins. Because during that same era, government agencies were openly researching consciousness, remote viewing, and psychological experimentation. Programs like Project Stargate proved that intelligence agencies were studying human perception in ways most people never knew about. And over time, some people began asking a darker question. What if certain GATE programs were screening children for unusual abilities? Not intelligence, something else. Because thousands of former students describe similar experiences: the headphones, the strange exercises, the memory gaps. And whether the theory is true or not, it raises a question. What was really happening inside some of those classrooms? And why do so many people remember the same things? What if some gifted programs in America...
They go around to public elementaries and just pull students out and try this, or what? This next TikTok is pointing out some unusual similarities that he pointed out in Washington.
Washington, D.C., there are 23 major zodiacs in that city, more than any other city in the world. One other thing you're going to love, I don't think it's not on this map. In the earliest plat of Washington, D.C., all the lots are numbered, except one. You get up to 665, and then it jumps to 667, 668. So what's missing? 666. 666. And guess what sits on that lot today? The capital of the United States. Now, it's accepted by historians that the French Revolution was fomented by the Illuminati. George Washington, big Masonic. So they're passing along the ancient mysteries through Freemasonry. By the way, if you think that the Illuminati is just something you can laugh at and just some kind of boogaboo, here's a letter in 1782 from George Washington where he said, "It was not my intention to doubt that the doctrines of the Illuminati had not spread to the United States. On the contrary, no one is more fully satisfied of that fact than I am." These guys knew more about what was going on than we do today with all our modern technology and all our electronic communication.
And if all that information wasn't enough to make you raise an eyebrow and go, the layout of DC itself has the Vitruvian Man and a pentagram inside the city structure, with the phallus of the Vitruvian Man being the Washington Monument.
Washington, D.C., there are 23.
It's in every major city of the world. Drop your thoughts below. Have you seen something in a different city? I'm thinking about it. Doesn't Detroit have like a Baphomet statue or something like that? I couldn't find a Baphomet statue, but a RoboCop statue is there. That is crazy. Was that like filmed there or something? At the way AI is advancing, shoot, RoboCop don't seem too far off, does it? Alright, this next guy records a strange creature. Let's take a look at this.
This guy was driving, was able to capture a very strange incident that he recorded. Like, look at that. I'm gonna play it again for y'all to see, because I don't understand what it is I'm looking at. It just spins off at a...
What the heck, a Chucky doll? Oh man.
Incredibly fast speed. This guy was driving.
Alright guys, this next mysterious TikTok gets pretty wild. The internet is struggling trying to figure this one out.
When they put the helmet on them to try to get them to telepathically communicate with the craft, it fries their brain out.
This video you're getting ready to watch is insane. There's two things that I want to address in here. First thing that he alleges is trained U.S. fighter pilots killed in a psychic project having them try to fly UFOs. If that's true, somebody should investigate it. And last but definitely not least, the use of gate program kids in the flying of UFOs because they couldn't get their pilots to stay alive.
Their pilots are not, they don't have the particular consciousness that's necessary to do telepathic communication because they're hardwired into the left brain. When they put the helmet on them to try to get them to telepathically communicate with the craft, it fries their brain out. And so what they've done is they've lost a number of multi-million-dollar trained U.S. fighter pilots. And so what they decided that they needed to do is they needed to go find people who are psychic. And what they found out is that they didn't dare recruit full adults because they would tell about it. And they didn't want to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and then they go tell somebody. So what they did is they went after children. And they started giving them tests called the GATE program, the gifted and talented children. But at the same time, they were testing them for psychic abilities. When they put the helmet on them to try to get them to telepathically communicate.
I don't know what is it with these TikToks, man, but they just are getting darker and darker.
If you put food out in the sun, it gets dehydrated. If I put food out in the full moonlight, it gets putrefied. It putrefies really fast.
Y'all, some of the stuff that this gentleman points out about the sun and the moon is absolutely mind-blowing. Take a listen.
So it rots. It's exactly opposite. And then you can also, at nighttime, when the moon is full, you can pull out a thermometer and put it out in the light of the moon, right? And let's say, as an example, the thermometer reads 70 degrees in the full moonlight. If I put it in the shade of the moonlight, it actually gets warmer. And I pull it out, it gets colder again. So the moon's light is cold. It's not hot, so it's not reflecting the sun. It has nothing to do with the sun. That's what I mean by it's its own light. And that's a simple scientific experiment. Anybody can do it. Thermometer.
Friendly experiments that we can replicate? I'm all for it.
I don't know if you've ever done it, but I've lived in the northern climates before, and a lot of times if I park my car under a tree, I'll come out to my windshield, to my car in the morning, and half of my windshield will be frozen and the other half won't be. It's happened many, many times, and I never really thought about it until a few years ago, and I put it all together. I'm like, wow. The reason it frosted over is because the full moon light hit that part of the windshield, and this part was underneath the tree in the shade.
So we're rotating around the Earth, the sun.
Exactly. I'm proposing to you that the sun and the moon are moving around us.
To all my gamers out there, man, Elden Ring, it was a moon attack that you can learn. It was like a frosted moon attack. There's two different versions. You had a regular moon attack, and then you had a frosted moon attack. The Attack on Titan giants in reference to Nephilim and giants we used to have back in the day. Hunter x Hunter talking about the dark lands beyond the outer wall. When you really start putting the pieces together, it's like, did they know that and then intentionally put it in?
Just like it looks like. They are the same size, not 400 miles further, bigger and 400 times further apart. It's very much the same. The sun, and as astrologically speaking, I think the moon has just as much of an impact as the sun on us. One is our conscious side, one's our unconscious side.
I was just about to say, what did Enoch tell us?
One's gold, one's silver, one's hot, one's cold. From our perspective, the moon and the sun are the same size. From our perspective, but they tell us, science tries to tell us that we're going around the sun and the moon's going around us. It looks like, and from our experience, it looks like the sun and the moon are different. They're the exact same size. They have power. We can feel their power. Like if you believe in astrology at all, like all of our ancestors have always believed it. They believe that the sun, the moon, and all the stars, each of the individual stars have their own power. They have their own potency that they're affecting us. So like if you're born on a particular day of the year, okay, that's your sun sign, you're a Gemini. And then the exact day that you're born will know, okay, that's where the moon was in the sky. And then they can take a picture of the entire sky. They know exactly where all the planets were the moment you were born. And that's going to impact your entire life. All of our ancestors said the sun is masculine, the moon's feminine. I mean, we can just go on and on and on.
The sun's name is a male, and I believe the moon is referred to her. And Enoch as well.
Makes sense. Like if you see the world like that, everything starts clicking. Like all these weird questions that we have from our perspective, from our society, are all basically they're all science questions. They're like, well, if we this and that, then and then you come up with all these weird questions. But if you just see the Earth as simple, that's how I see it. It's just very simple. Basically what it boils down to is the sun is not the center of our galaxy. We are. The sun, the moon, all the planets are revolving around us. And not just us as a whole, but I like to tell people, like, your mom and dad told you the world doesn't revolve around you. And I like to tell them, yeah, it does, actually. It totally revolves around you. Whatever you think and believe is the world that you're going to have. Your thoughts, your perspective, the things you expect happen. You know, we live in a magical universe. If you put food out.
I've run across this clip before, but every time I do come across it again, I can't get enough of it, man. It's right up my alley.
Most people think the sun is a burning ball in space. But what if I told you it's not real? Beneath us, at the center of the Earth, lies the black sun, a powerful, unseen core, spinning, pulsing, breathing. This black sun generates ether energy, the life force of the realm. It spirals upward through the polar north, through the axis mundi, the world tree, the celestial pole. When this energy hits the celestial dome, it splits. The positive charge refracts and forms the sun. The negative charge forms the moon. But they're not physical objects. They are plasma manifestations. Energy reacting with the firmament.
The thing, you have a theory about the moon, and we expect to be able to get observable facts about the moon fairly soon. What is your theory?
Well, it is by now rather more than a theory. 10 or 11 years ago, I stated to various scientists that the moon is not a piece of rock, but it is a plasma phenomena, cosmic plasma, and that this fact will eventually be confirmed. I made certain predictions which were already confirmed in 1958, and the situation now is coming close to a complete confirmation.
What will be the result if you are proved to be correct in your theories?
The result will be profound and decisive, because it will give proof that a complete reinvestigation of the laws of nature is necessary. And that means that if it is proved that the moon is a plasma, then all gravitational theories are out, and a new concept of the cosmos and of its laws has to be evolved. The moon seems to be of a quite different nature of what was assumed.
The Americans and Russians are thinking of landing men on it.
Well, that will never happen.
That's why the moon isn't reflecting light. It's emitting it. It glows with a cold, silvery luminescence, plasma X-ray field.
for entertainment purposes only.
showing transparency, depth, and even hidden landforms beneath. The sun burns bright because of focused energy. The moon phases change as the black sun coils inward and outward like a serpent. When the energy overlaps or cancels, you get crescents, full moons, or new moons, and the stars, their standing waves of ether dancing across the dome. Unique energetic signatures like cymatic pattern, each fixed in its own toroidal field, projected by the black sun. You've been taught to look up for answers, but the truth is, everything above is a mirror of what lies below. This is for entertainment purposes only.
You know, when we see the different formations of the moon, the crescent, half moon, you know, Enoch talked about he got to see behind the scenes where he was talking about the moon and sun storehouses. Man, I wonder how that plays a role into all this.
You see, this technology they're putting up in our neighborhoods, we have no idea how it's affecting us. So many people are agitated all the time and they don't know why. So they're quick to snap and literally harm other people. And we're blaming these people, not realizing that this technology is emitting frequencies that is literally agitating people on a cellular level. We are in a literal spiritual warfare, people. Animals are being affected. You guys can see up there, like, this is affecting everybody everywhere. But guess what? Most of you guys are too manipulated, too brainwashed. You guys are using and drinking fluoride water, and now your mind is gone. Awaken to the truth. We are in a war, people. You can't see it. Only if you see it do you see it. Nah, but seriously, like, really think about what's going on. This is happening everywhere. And there's so many people who are like doing outrageous things. And it's like, oh my gosh, we get mad at them, but we're not even realizing, like, these people, like, you have to be mentally, like, spiritually strong in today's day and age to really maneuver through what's going on. You know, every so often, like, something will like piss me off, but then I'm like, you know what? I'm high vibrational. I'm above the frequency of all of this. But a lot of people aren't conscious, so they get triggered by these different frequencies. Wake up, people.
If you thought I wasn't going to hit you with another excellent specimen of the day, think again. You guys see it. Fluorite. What did it say? Fluorite on feldspar. This kind of resembles that alien eye fluorite that we seen. As a matter of fact, I got a fluorite right here. Isn't it crazy how I just grabbed that? I keep it right here, you know, because I'm a huge fan of these specimens. But yeah, this is fluorite. But yeah, we're focusing on this one. This is an aesthetic combo of fluorite and feldspar. If I had to rate this, I would rate it a 9.6 because it is an excellent combination. And I would call this Petrified Forest 9.6. This fluorite I have right here came from a mine in Brazil. That's all I got for today's video. If you enjoyed this one, be sure to hit a like and subscribe button on your way out and drop the code words in the comments so I know you're real. The code word for today is moon. I love you guys. See you next time.